Hello, ECE 203 scholars. Since I wasn't going to be able to present this in class, I thought I would present it through the form of a video. So, this is Lev Vygotsky. Something that is very important to note about him is that he is always serving face. I learned that through doing research for this project, and I mean, serving face is not the only thing he's serving. Let me just get you this straight, because this man, he knows what's up. So, here's a little bit about him. He's a Russian-born child psychologist. He studied mostly during the Soviet Union era of Russia. No, solely during the Soviet Union era in Russia. My apologies. And he was 37 years old when he died, which just makes you think what heights he could have reached if he had lived a little bit longer, because he's already very influential in the childhood scene right now, and as we'll get to, but yeah, his teachings were actually banned in the Soviet Union until Stalin, so normally we don't really like that dude, but apparently he knew what was up with Vygotsky, because this is like the one good thing he ever did. He was an active psychologist for only 10 years, from 1924 to 1934 until his death, which is kind of, again, very shocking considering how influential he is. And he studied cognitive development in the similar vein to Jean Piaget, but his theories were a little bit different, and he was inspired by Piaget at the beginning of his career, but he slowly got a little bit more jaded with his views. And yeah, but Piaget actually was kind of a big fan. After Vygotsky died, Piaget was reading his theories and was like, hey, this guy, he kind of knows what's going on. So here's a little bit about his main theory, which is zonoproximal development and scaffolding. It is a continuous theory, although I will say you could argue that it has a bit of discontinuous in there, because there are some things that you just can't do at certain ages that he laid out, and you could argue that that part is discontinuous, but on the whole, he's really about that constructivist life. And he has many courses of development. Every child is different, and he really honed in on every child's specific differences. He supported both nature and nurture, because a child's ZPD is formed by the things that they can and can't do, not only through what the child is just like physically able not to do, but also what the child is not expected to do based on cultural norms. And that's why his theory is also very multicultural, because you're supposed to apply different cultures to each child's case, which is what you should be doing anyways. But under Vygotsky, if you're not doing that, then I don't really know what you're doing. So here is his main theory with a beautiful image by me. Every child has 3 zones of learning: things that are learned, things that are beyond their reach, and things that they can learn with help. And that zone where things that they can learn with help is the ZPD. And the ZPD is what you as the teacher or facilitator will help that child learn. And you do that usually through scaffolding, which is breaking bigger skills into smaller chunks. So for example, if you want to get your kids to be able to add numbers up to 20, first you got to teach them their numbers up to 20. Then you have to teach them how to add the small amounts. Then you can teach them how to add bigger amounts until they get to 20. And that happens all throughout your education career, and this happens throughout life. Your ZPD never stops growing, which is what's so cool about Vygotsky, in my opinion. And hey, you're not happening sphere, for me, that's like going to be like mathematician or doctor. And that's probably going to stay that way. But the fun thing about Vygotsky is that if someday I woke up and decided I wanted to be a doctor, which if so, I should probably be checked into an institution instead of running it, I would be able to do that because of scaffolding. So here are some real-world implications, and this slide is blank because he really does speak for himself. So Vygotsky is one of the most, if not the most important philosophers and theorists of education in general. He is so important, especially in public school systems. If you don't like this guy, then you gotta get out, because you are going to be ZPDing and scaffolding it up for like ever, because I mean, in my personal experience from being in a first grade classroom, all they do is scaffolding. All they're doing is breaking bigger chunks into bigger pieces. And also, ZPD is very much real. And that's something I had to adjust to when I was doing some of my placements, because where you think a child is, their ZPD might not be there, and you got to quickly adjust your mind view of their ZPD. So he is extremely important, and he is very useful for teachers to know about because of how much he encompasses with his thoughts. And now for the burning question, what do I think? So I'm a big Vygotsky fan. As you may have heard me say, he is my sister. He just knows a lot about how children work and how all of the different parts of a child's ecosystem influence their ZPD. He's a bit like Bronfenbrenner in that sense, and I already love Bronfenbrenner, but Vygotsky, I just think he knows what's up. And even Mr. Watt's 800 examples of what a ZPD looks like can't deter me from loving him. All right, so here are my sources cited, literally just Wikipedia, and everything else came from my massive brain. And thank you all very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this silly little presentation by me, and I hope you guys learned a little bit. And take care. I'm excited to watch all of your videos, so party.